Welcome back to another episode of Building a SaaS Company in Public. I'm Ben, and this is my co-founder, Tyler. And we are building a SaaS business by the name of Masset. And rather than not getting to know who we are, we're going to openly share all sorts of information about what it's like to build a company in public, where we're going, what we're doing, giving every one of you viewers full exposure into the company behind the scenes to understand what we care about, what we're building, and why. It's a ton of fun to share this material. It's almost like journal entries for Tyler and I as we go through this journey, and we hope it provides some value for anyone looking to work with us, anyone looking to start a business or otherwise. So these are just weekly updates, and it's a ton of fun. So Tyler, you always complain that I make you go first with stuff. So should I go first today?
Yeah, you go ahead and go first.
Okay, perfect.
These
I'll
are
do
great,
that.
by the way. I love how efficient video content is because I used to try and do these updates just writing blog articles or notes about what I'm doing, and I found myself taking hours and hours to write blog articles about what I was doing. So it's a lot easier just to talk for 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Plus, I had a really cool podcast episode with this guy by the name of Jared, who runs a really cool business called Luminous. And they have built their entire business off of content. And, with AI and everything like that, we got into a little side discussion about how video content or, authentic storytelling, it's going to be so much more important as time goes on. AI is going to be a mechanism to help us tell stories, not necessarily replace our stories. And for everyone not having an authentic and original story to share, that content's going to be really hard to get any value out of. And video is just nice and easy. You just get to sit, you get to see who we are, see a little bit into our houses, see that Tyler has a green thumb in his background and all sorts of fun stuff like that.
Yeah, you might notice that my tree never grows or changes. It's not really a green thumb.
Is this an IKEA special right here?
It's an IKEA special. And you're making the assumption, Ben, that I'm not already an AI avatar, that I already don't just have a fake background and a fake avatar already running on top of my face.
I've seen you in person, so I'm fairly confident.
That's fair.
But
nobody else has, though.
Yeah, it's true. So with March Madness, Tyler and I both went to BYU, and we're big BYU fans. And BYU won for the first time since like 2012 with Jimmer Fredette, won our first game in the NCAA tournament.
Has that really been that long since we won a game in the round?
Yeah, Jimmer was there and all that kind of fun stuff at it. So hopefully we do decent against Wisconsin. But there was a video of Kevin Young, their head coach. And honestly, it was a full AI voiceover of him saying stuff that he really did not say in that interview. And I caught on pretty quick, but I got further into that video than I expected. Yeah. It's scary, but again, authentic stories are going to rule. It's going to be really powerful. So I love it.
So I hope you like
that
our
was
story.
A ramble.
Yeah.
So last week we didn't actually do an update because I was out of town for a little bit. So we skipped 1 week of that. So this is 2 weeks of updates. Honestly, my updates are kind of boring, to be honest. Like, it's a lot of fun of what I do, but number one is we run our podcast each and every week. I record quite a few of those, probably 3 or 4 episodes a week, maybe more. So I get to meet really cool people and talk about content all the time and learn about people's needs and wants in the space. I'm writing contracts. I'm in sales meetings, doing demos. I'm running all the promotions and advertising, things like that. Spending a lot of time about how to tell our story. One thing that, again, I learned from Jared and this guy on the podcast was they really start their content from the very bottom of the funnel and they have moved up. And what I mean by that is anytime Jared or anyone in the business received a question, how does this product work? Or how does this feature work? Or how do you compare to this competitor? Things like that, where it's really qualifying questions. People are actually really interested in purchasing and need to do their due diligence. They would just shoot a video. They would just sit down and talk through this. I think they had like a long session with all the co-founders just sitting down and shooting the breeze and honestly filming and talking and edited it and all that stuff. And then they moved up into the top. And we do have some top of the funnel educational content. That's, the podcast and all that kind of stuff. We're not promotional on there, but it's so cool every time that anyone asks me a question. I have built in the discipline that I take the time and I film a quick video about how to do that thing in the product. It becomes like an FAQ page on the website. And then I can just send them that resource that actually shows this video in product about how to do things. And it's pretty cool how quickly you can, first of all, see the questions people are asking. And second of all, you can build up quite the database of video content that helps answer questions. And So it just takes some discipline. So I'm really kind of building out that muscle, and it's a little sore sometimes, but I'm actively working on it.
No question is too small, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
no matter what it is, that's what we do.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler just released light mode. Like that's oddly enough been like a really heavily requested feature. Everything in the product's been in dark mode all the time. And we got a question from someone, how do I enable it? And rather than just saying, okay, these 2 button clicks, this is how you do it, took the minute, filmed the video, sent the video, and that's so much better. And so
In
that's
the
really
world
what
of
I've been
AI
working
that
on. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like in the world of AI that we live in, it's really easy to take a video as a source and turn it into other things. A lot easier than taking text and turning it
Yeah.
into a video, right? It's a lot easier to take
True.
a video and turn it into a blog post or a knowledge base article or whatever it is.
1,000%. This video's transcript is automatically being generated. It'll be processed as soon as we're done recording. And I will take that, throw it into an AI system, and that will give us all of the breakdowns for this episode in a blog post of where you're going to see the content. And
Yeah.
that's how we manage a lot of things and all sorts of stuff. And so it's a lot of fun. Launched some new channels. We're doing some paid advertising on Google. A lot of startups are hesitant in this space to do it, and I can't blame them because sometimes it's a money grab. First and foremost, I'm starting out with a really low budget. I have spent years in AdWords and Google Ads. I call it AdWords. That's how long I've been in the platform. I have really good contacts in the space. But we're like the people bidding on like maybe 24 terms. Maybe it's a little bit more than that, but very like no broad match, no phrase match. This is exact match. You know, if someone's searching for sales enablement software, bottom of the bottom funnel, high intent search terms, that's what we're bidding on, kind of an
Yeah.
idea. And so we've started doing that, gotten some good demos out of it, really been impressed. We also launched, this is something again from my background in, I don't know, Tyler, if I like, I don't know, I should have like probably asked for permission more for this than anything. I think I just told you, but
Just
I've
happened.
been in too many businesses where if you give away a $50 Amazon gift card, it just builds some urgency. Like people are genuinely, interested and curious, but they have a lot to do. That makes sense. And that little incentive, it tends to work really, really well. Obviously, it's only for qualified buyers, but I've been in businesses that have gone from really low to going public. And honestly, one of the biggest changes in lead counts was nailing down this incentive for a demo. And everyone that I've talked to that has been around any of that kind of businesses, they all do the same thing. Like it's just that little incentive to make it kind of worth your while. And that's also been a big help for us as well, which is cool.
Yeah, well, I think there's two sides to that as well. Like if you troll around on LinkedIn long enough, you'll see a lot of posts about people getting slightly like irked about people asking for favors and stuff like that. And we are very grateful for the people that help us out because a lot of people do us favors and give us feedback and a lot of stuff. But it kind of makes sense, right? Like we call it an incentive from our side. But realistically, it's like a payment for your time, right? Like you're willing to hop on a
Yeah.
call for an hour. Like most people want to be helpful, like, and they want to, but it's hard to justify an hour of your time or somebody else's time if there's not a monetary incentive there as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's kind of like, it's really kind of the right thing to do in addition.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of helpful to help people that way.
Especially like the people that we talk to. I mean, these people are high up in marketing
Professionals.
and
Yeah.
sales. They're busy. So it's
Yeah.
just a nice little thank you to say, oh yeah, like it's worth me carving out 30 minutes, an hour.
Yeah.
Our demos are 45 minutes long, and say, okay, I'll do it sooner than later because there's a cool incentive that aligns with something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
and going back to like AdWords, speaking just who we are as a business a little bit, like AdWords gives me like the shivers. Like it terrifies me. AdWords in a lot of ways is lighting your money on fire. Like
Yeah.
it literally is the worst thing you can do with your investors' money, right? Like burning money on ads. It just happens at every startup. So if you're a startup and you're considering doing AdWords and you're brand new, take a giant step back, think about it really hard, and make sure you're not just burning thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars right away. Like when we say that we're using a little bit of budget, like we're using right now as we're trying, like in the realm of hundreds of dollars a day. And so this is something that just like we're experimenting with. I think it's the right thing for us to do. We're trying to get up our volume and our brand a little bit, but it's something you have to be really careful of. So if you're a brand new startup investor and you're like, cool, use AdWords to get in front of people, just be real careful. That can get out of hand real fast.
Yep. Set your daily budget at your campaign level. So everything downstream is kind of affected by that. And then my recommendation when you're first starting is pick like 5 keywords that are the dream keywords that are buyer intent, do exact match, and only do those keywords, and then scale it up, right? It's easier to add keywords than comb through all of it. But man, I was shocked, like, especially when you're first starting out, like broad match, not even close to like what I was getting at. And even phrase match was a stretch.
Yeah.
And so I'm a firm believer of exact match only. Like, and if that means I have to manually put in 1,000 keywords, there are probably Google Ads experts that are like crying right now at what I'm doing. But like,
They're like,
for
no, no,
my
no, don't do it
budget
that way.
to
Yeah.
not get it out of control and make sure every click matters, that's exactly what I have to do at this point in time. All right, I think that's. I'm trying to think if there's anything else on my end. Yeah, a lot of conversations. We're onboarding a lot of people, helping a lot of people out. So it's been a lot of really good conversations, really good presentations. We have a lot of new clients coming into the system, and so every one of those involves contracts and onboarding and training, optimization, this and that, and various stages and sizes of companies. And so that's my MO. That's my day in and day out. And we were just talking about this, but really the name of the game for us at this point in time is sustainable growth. And our objective is we just want to get in front of the right people. We want to do it the right way. But if we can get in front of the right people, we're really confident with what we've built, that it's something that they need and want and solves a legitimate problem for the business. And so for us, it's we're at that phase where experimentation of scaling makes sense and getting in front of the right people makes sense. For a long time, that wasn't the case. We weren't there yet.
Yeah.
And even today, there's still a handful of features we're really excited to come out, and we know that our customers are really excited about those, but we've kind of reached the scale phase, and we're starting to see some of the results of that, and we're starting to see the revenue numbers go up quite rapidly, which has been nice.
Yeah, if you're following lean startup, it's like you don't want to pour gas on that fire until it's actually a fire, right?
Yeah.
And I think that we're feeling the early signs now, just in the last month or so, of like, okay, the product's finally at the spot where we're resonating, we're getting that kind of that product market fit feeling a little bit, and that we can really start, pouring some money into marketing and sales, which is great. It's a great place to be in.
Exactly. A lot of businesses never get to this point, and so we're grateful for it and excited to keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Tyler, what have you built in the last 2 weeks? What have you done?
I know I had an answer to this question, and then you said 2 weeks, and I had to go back and look at my calendar and see what I had actually done 2 weeks ago. We operate on a quarter scale of January to March. Who knows? Maybe in the future we'll switch that to a fiscal calendar. You only get one of those switches and give yourself an extra month of sales one time. It's terrific. You'd get a 4-month quarter. But today our quarter ends in the end of March, so I've been kind of heads down, just crunching, trying to get a bunch of our quarter deliverables done. So a big one is this week I spent a lot of time on what we're calling task management. And it is, when you hear task management, a lot of you will probably think project management and Asana and Jira. It's not that. I mean, there's a flavor of that, but really, if you think about content, we're kind of a content enablement or content operations platform. There's a lot of feedback loops with content that happen. And so like people will say, hey, I need a change to this, or I need a variation of this, or it's out of date, or all of those things. In the past, those were all possible within Masset, but it was kind of fired off into the ether. So it went to emails land or into other notifications and our notification system. We've now updated that and provided a place in Masset so that tasks will be created that can be managed within Masset to do that, which really helps our users to kind of follow up and follow through on a lot of those requests, which is something that's been requested for a while. So that was great. I spent most of this week on that, tying that up. Last week, I was heads down on the HubSpot integration, making great progress there. That's really shaping up and really fun to see kind of the impact that that's having. And then some minor improvements as well for some of our customers. Thanks for all the customer requests, everybody. We made the improvement for light mode. Ben called that out. And we also ship support for PSD Photoshop files in supporting of preview of those as well when you upload them. Lots of great improvements, good shipping in the last 2 weeks, and lots of great things coming out. So stay tuned. If any existing customers are wanting to see some of that task stuff, that'll be going into beta here this next week. So if you're interested in seeing that turned on for yourself, for for your instance, reach out and let us know.
There was one more thing that you launched. I'm trying to think.
You probably know better than I do.
I'm gonna look
I
it
feel
up.
like as you look that up, I feel like this is like early in my career. There's a running joke that I had with a bunch of my friends that like every good engineer gets to rebuild calendars. Everybody like they get in their career, they get to rebuild a calendar, a CRM, task management software, and like email. It's like everybody gets to do, one of those or all of those four. I feel like this is the first task management. I've built data platforms, I've built CRMs, I've built, calendars, I built all these things. Task management was the last thing that needed to be checked off the box. So I feel like I can go into retirement now and really feel like I've accomplished everything I needed to in my career.
Yeah, I love that.
It's done.
Like tag descriptions.
Yeah, tag descriptions. Yeah.
So some people that we're working with, they have like very specific acronyms that they put for their tags and categories. And so it's really cool now that if you want, you can put in just a little tooltip that says, here's a description of what this tag means. And just making it, again, simple, easy.
Yeah.
That's kind of our MO for the whole business, is to make the content is easy to manage, like the whole operational side, and it's available anywhere that you need content. So if you're in your CRM, email, whatever, it doesn't matter. You can immediately access everything really easily. And that tooltip was just like a perfect alignment. Someone mentioned that. I was like, that's so good, because that just makes things easier. If someone's not sure what that means, great. They can just hover over it and they're off to the races. And
those
so
kind
lots
of
of really cool
improvements,
stuff. Yeah.
Those are afternoon types improvements instead of, weeks and weeks. So those are great wins when we have stuff like that.
Awesome. Well, honestly, I think that's a good update for the week. If anyone has any feedback, feel free to reach out. You know how to find us. You're probably on our website right now, and appreciate everyone we're working with. Appreciate everyone out there. And honestly, please, content is the right way of doing things. Please continue to invest time and energy into good, authentic content. That's what we're here for. And that's what we want to support. So we're a big fan of you telling your story.
All right. Till next week.